On a bright morning in April 2023, a normal day took a horrifying turn for a mother in Pennsylvania. Rachel King, a dedicated teacher and loving mother, was shot and killed in front of her young son. This tragic event left a family shattered and a community in shock. This is the story of Rachel King, her life, and the events that led to her untimely death.
The Philadelphia school teacher was shot and killed in front of her 11-year-old son at a Cheltenham Dunkin' drive-thru back on April 11th. Weeks later, two people identified by police as Zaki Stephen Al-Hakim and Julie Jean were arrested and charged with the murder.
Before we dive into this heartbreaking story, we want to hear from you. How do you think jealousy can affect people's lives? What would you do if you found yourself in a similar situation? Take a moment to think about it. And if you find this story impactful, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the True Crime Tales HQ channel. Your support helps us continue to bring awareness to important stories like Rachel's. Rachel King was a 35-year-old teacher at Grover Cleveland Elementary School in Philadelphia. She was known for her passion for teaching and her commitment to her students. Rachel was a bright light in the lives of those around her. She had a special bond with her son, Jalen, who was just 11 years old at the time. They spent a lot of time together, and Rachel was not only a mother but also a friend to Jalen. Rachel was in a relationship with William Hayes. They had been together for several years and shared a loving partnership. However, Rachel's relationship with William was complicated by his past affair with another woman named Julie Jean. This affair introduced tension into Rachel's life and created a complicated love triangle. Julie Jean had a romantic history with William that began before he met Rachel. Their affair caused many problems in Rachel's life, especially when she found out about it. Despite the challenges, Rachel and William decided to work on their relationship. They wanted to rebuild their bond and move forward together as a family. However, Julie Jean struggled to accept the end of her romance with William. After he broke things off with her, she began to contact both William and Rachel frequently. This behavior escalated into harassment, as Julie tried to remain a part of William's life, even though it was clear he wanted to move on. Julie's relentless pursuit of William affected both him and Rachel. Rachel felt uncomfortable and anxious due to Julie's actions. Things came to a head when William decided he could no longer tolerate the situation. In December 2022, he filed for a protection from abuse order against Julie. This legal step was meant to protect himself and Rachel from Julie's unwanted attention. Instead of calming the situation, this order seemed to fuel Julie's anger and jealousy. She felt rejected and vengeful toward Rachel, whom she saw as the barrier to her rekindling her relationship with William. In the months that followed, Julie's jealousy grew into a dangerous obsession. She began to plot against Rachel in secret. Around mid-February 2023, Julie reached out to a man named Zaki Al-Hakim. Zaki was related to the father of Julie's children. He became an unwitting accomplice in her plans. Their communication shifted from casual chats to discussions about carrying out a scheme against Rachel. Julie and Zaki began meeting regularly to discuss their plans. At this point, think about this. What signs of jealousy or obsession have you seen in relationships around you? How do you think those can escalate if left unaddressed? Evidence collected from Julie's phone showed that she communicated with Zaki frequently. They met in person multiple times leading up to the murder. And during these meetings, Julie provided Zaki with pictures of Rachel. Zaki saved these pictures on his phone, which would help him identify Rachel when the time came. They also exchanged screenshots of Google Maps that pinpointed Rachel's apartment. This showed how carefully they prepared for the act they intended to commit. The next step in their plot involved acquiring a vehicle that would be used during the attack. In March 2023, just weeks before the tragic event, Julie purchased a Mercury Sable from a dealership in Philadelphia. This car would become Zaki's getaway vehicle on the day of the incident. The choice of this particular vehicle was significant. It enabled them to blend in while following Rachel without raising suspicion. Surveillance footage later revealed that this Mercury Sable was seen near Rachel's home multiple times leading up to April 11th. This indicated that Zaki had been stalking Rachel, observing her movements and learning her daily routine. On the morning of April 11th, 2023, Rachel planned to take her son Jalen to his violin lesson. Before heading out, they stopped at their local Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast. Rachel and Jalen arrived at the Dunkin' Donuts in the Melrose Shopping Center around 7:30 a.m. Rachel pulled into the drive-thru lane, completely unaware of the danger lurking just moments away. At that same time, Zaki Al-Hakim was nearby, parked in the Mercury Sable. He had followed Rachel from her home to the Dunkin' Donuts, ready to carry out the horrifying plan that had been in the works for weeks. Zaki parked his light-colored sedan a short distance behind Rachel's vehicle in the drive-thru lane. He exited his car and approached Rachel's SUV without hesitation. In a shocking act of violence, Zaki opened fire through Rachel's driver's side window. He shot her multiple times while Jalen sat in the back seat, terrified and confused. The sound of gunfire shattered the morning calm, leaving Jalen in a state of horror as he witnessed his mother being attacked. After firing several shots, Zaki quickly returned to his vehicle and fled the scene, driving eastbound on Cheltenham Avenue. Emergency responders arrived at the scene shortly after receiving calls about the shooting. They found Rachel slumped over in her seat behind the wheel of her SUV. Despite their best efforts to save her life, Rachel King was pronounced dead shortly after being found. The tragedy unfolded in front of her young son, who remained physically unharmed but deeply affected by the loss of his mother. In the days following this tragic event, investigators worked tirelessly to piece together what had happened. They quickly identified Zaki as the shooter and began searching for both him and Julie. The impact of this event rippled through the community as friends, family, and colleagues struggled to come to terms with such a senseless act. Following Rachel's murder, law enforcement quickly mobilized to investigate the crime. Detectives arrived at the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru and began gathering evidence. They collected 6 spent shell casings found on the ground near Rachel's vehicle. This crucial evidence would later help link the crime to the suspects. Surveillance footage from Dunkin' Donuts provided vital information. It showed Rachel's SUV in the drive-thru lane and captured Zaki's light-colored sedan parked nearby moments before the shooting. The video depicted Zaki exiting his vehicle and approaching Rachel's car, where he opened fire without hesitation. In addition to the video, detectives analyzed cell phone data that revealed communication between Julie and Zaki. They discovered that Julie had deleted 787 text messages just minutes before being questioned by police. However, investigators were able to recover many of these messages, which included conversations about their plan to harm Rachel. One significant message sent by Julie to Zaki shortly before the attack was a payment through Cash App. This payment was accompanied by an emoji suggesting urgency and secrecy. Investigators also found images of Rachel on Zaki's phone and a screenshot of a Google map showing her apartment complex. This evidence indicated that they had been stalking Rachel for weeks, gathering information on her daily routine and movements. The investigation quickly identified Julie Jean and Zaki Al-Hakim as the main suspects in this planned attack. On April 26, 2023, more than 2 weeks after the shooting, authorities arrested both individuals. Zaki was apprehended after crashing into a fence while trying to evade police in Philadelphia. He was already wanted in connection with another homicide that occurred just days before Rachel's shooting. During interviews with detectives, Zaki initially denied being involved in Rachel's murder. He claimed he was selling drugs at the time of the shooting. However, physical evidence and digital footprints contradicted his statements. The shell casings recovered from both crime scenes matched bullets fired from a privately built ghost gun, which investigators linked back to Zaki. Julie Jean was also arrested and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy. She denied any involvement in Rachel's death during her interrogation, but could not escape the mounting evidence against her. Prosecutors described Julie as the mastermind behind the plot, driven by jealousy over her past relationship with William Hayes. As the investigation progressed, more details about the love triangle emerged. William Hayes became a key witness in the case, He testified about his relationship with both Rachel and Julie. He explained how he ended his affair with Julie and chose to commit fully to Rachel. William described the harassment he faced from Julie after their breakup and the lengths he had to go to protect Rachel. The trial began in November 2024, almost a year after Rachel's tragic death. The courtroom was packed with family, friends, and community members who came to support Rachel's family and witness the proceedings. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Kevin Steele, presented a compelling case against both defendants. They outlined how Julie had plotted with Zachy to kill Rachel out of jealousy after her relationship with William ended. The prosecution argued that Julie was the mastermind behind the plan while Zachy was the one who executed it. They explained that the two had spent weeks planning the ambush, gathering information about Rachel's routines, and even purchasing the vehicle used in the crime. Key testimonies played a crucial role in the trial. William Hayes took the stand to recount his relationship with both women. He described how he had an affair with Julie but ultimately chose to reconcile with Rachel. Hayes testified about the harassment he faced from Julie after their breakup, including receiving numerous calls and texts from her. He explained that he had to file a protection from abuse order against her due to her persistent behavior. The defense teams for both Zachy and Julie attempted to challenge the prosecution's case. They argued that there was insufficient direct evidence linking their clients to the crime. Julie's attorney tried to distance her from Zachy, suggesting she did not fully understand his actions or intentions. They questioned whether Hayes had indeed ended his relationship with Julie before she reached out to Zachy. On November 14, 2024, the jury reached a verdict against Zachy Alhakim and Julie Jean. Following the verdict, the judge proceeded to the sentencing phase. Both Zachy and Julie were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Rachel's impact on her community was profound. Friends and neighbors admired her kindness and dedication, not only as a teacher, but also as a friend and neighbor. Rachel's father, Alan King, shared his grief during a press conference following the sentencing. His words resonated with many who understood that no sentence could fill the void left by Rachel's absence. Jalen's well-being became a priority for Rachel's family after her death. Following the sentence, they explained to him what had happened in court. Jalen reportedly smiled when he learned that those responsible for his mother's death would face consequences for their actions. He felt better knowing they would not be able to harm anyone else. The tragic story of Rachel King highlights a broader issue that continues to plague society. Her story is not just about loss, it is a call to action for everyone to stand against violence in all its forms. Rachel King's legacy lives on through the memories of those who loved her. Her story is a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and the need to address the underlying issues that lead to violence. As we reflect on Rachel's life and the circumstances surrounding her death, we are urged to consider how we can make a difference and prevent such tragedies in the future. Rachel King's story is a heartbreaking example of how jealousy and obsession can lead to devastating consequences. It serves as a reminder of the importance of seeking help and support in times of distress. The impact of her loss continues to be felt by her family, friends, and community, who remember her as a vibrant and caring individual. As we conclude this tragic tale, let us remember Rachel King, not only for the way she died, but for the way she lived. She was a dedicated teacher, a loving mother, and a cherished friend. Her legacy will continue to inspire those who knew her, and her story will serve as a reminder of the importance of love, kindness, and understanding in our lives. The fight against violence must continue. We must stand together as a community to support one another and ensure that no one else experiences the pain and loss that Rachel's family has endured. Let us honor Rachel's memory by advocating for a world where love triumphs over hatred and where every individual feels safe and valued. In the end, Rachel's story is a powerful testament to the impact one person can have on the lives of others. Her spirit will live on in the hearts of those who loved her, and her legacy will serve as a beacon of hope for future generations. Together, we can work towards a future free from violence, where compassion and understanding prevail. Thank you for joining us in remembering Rachel King and reflecting on the lessons we can learn from her tragic story. If you found this story impactful, please like, share, and subscribe to the True Crime Tales HQ channel. Your support helps us continue to bring awareness to important stories like Rachel's. May we all strive to create a better world for ourselves and for those we hold dear.
Go in and face murderers to actually see her, to see who took my child's life.
This is the story of Tyra Chanel Crosby, a young woman whose life was tragically cut short. To truly grasp the complexities of this heartbreaking incident, it's essential to delve into the backgrounds of those involved, particularly Tyra herself. Born on August 28, 1997, Tyra was just 25 years old at the time of the incident. She resided with her mother, Tanya Hoskins, in the vibrant community of Northwest Charlotte, North Carolina. Tyra was not just another face in the crowd. She was known for her infectious energy, her dreams that seemed to know no bounds, and a personality that lit up every room she entered. Friends and family often reminisced about her vivacious spirit, recalling how she had a remarkable ability to connect with others and inspire those around her. However, beneath her cheerful exterior lay a reality that few could see. Tyra's outgoing nature and desire to embrace life fully often led her into risky situations, a fact she remained blissfully unaware of until it was too late. Her warmth and openness, qualities that endeared her to many, would unwittingly guide her toward a married man, setting the stage for a tragic fate that no one could have foreseen. Welcome to True Crime Tales HQ. I sincerely thank you, my esteemed viewers, most especially my subscribers, for your endless support. At True Crime Tales HQ we share true told and untold crime stories. Please don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to subscribe to this channel. Tyra's journey was not without its struggles. Despite her dreams and aspirations, she faced a series of personal challenges that brought her into contact with law enforcement on several occasions. Her legal troubles began to surface in 2018, when she faced charges of simple battery and assault, incidents that hinted at deeper emotional struggles. As time progressed, more serious allegations followed in 2021, including assault with a deadly weapon and discharging a firearm into an occupied property. These incidents painted a picture of a young woman grappling with the weight of her choices, struggling to find her footing amidst the chaos. In addition to these serious legal issues, Tyra encountered further incidents in 2022 and March 2023, involving simple assaults and threats. Yet, despite these setbacks, those who knew her best recognized her determination to turn her life around. Family and friends spoke of her unwavering compassion and her innate desire to uplift others, even as she navigated her own tumultuous path. Tyra was known to volunteer her time and energy to help those less fortunate, embodying a spirit of kindness that remained intact even in the face of adversity. Like many young women in search of love and stability, Tyra yearned for a meaningful relationship. Unfortunately, her past made it difficult for her to find acceptance. Despite her efforts to connect with people from various walks of life, she often found herself alone, navigating the complexities of dating with a sense of vulnerability. Her choices occasionally led her down paths that further complicated her life, but she remained hopeful that she would find the kind of love she sought. Eventually, her perseverance paid off when she met a man who seemed to fulfill her desires. Their relationship blossomed, and they shared numerous joyful moments together, frequently posting about their experiences on social media. Playful exchanges about who was the better cook or who took longer to get ready created a sense of normalcy and happiness in her life. In those moments, Tyra felt a glimpse of the stability she had always craved, unaware that this newfound connection would soon lead her into a web of danger and deceit. This vibrant young woman, full of dreams and aspirations, was on a journey toward finding love and happiness, but fate had other plans. Everything changed when Tyra met Albert Alexander, a seemingly charismatic man whose allure would lead her down a dark path. Their connection was immediate and electric, igniting a spark that neither of them could have anticipated. Albert, at 50 years old, had been married to Stephanie Alexander, 51, for many years. He had taken on the role of a devoted stepfather to Stephanie's 5 children from a previous relationship. To the outside world, Albert appeared to be a loyal husband and father, a man committed to his family and responsibilities. However, beneath this facade of loyalty lay a web of deception that would soon unravel, revealing the stark contrast between his public persona and private actions. On the evening of July 17, 2023, Tyra, a vibrant outdoor enthusiast with a zest for life, decided to visit a local club on her own. Eager to unwind and enjoy a night of fun, she ordered a few drinks, immersing herself in the lively atmosphere filled with music and laughter. It was a place where she could momentarily escape her worries and simply enjoy the thrill of the night. Unbeknownst to her, fate had other plans when she encountered Albert, who, coincidentally, was also at the club alone. Their chemistry was undeniable, as they quickly fell into an easy rhythm, sharing drinks, dancing, and engaging in deep conversations that felt both exhilarating and comforting. As the night wore on, the two shared laughter and exchanged stories, each discovering a sense of connection that both thrilled and blinded them to the potential dangers that loomed ahead. Albert, aware that his wife Stephanie was working a late shift, seized the opportunity to invite Tyra to his home, presenting it as a chance to extend their fun into a more private setting. Tyra, captivated by Albert's charm and completely unaware of his marital status, accepted the invitation without hesitation, setting the stage for a tragic encounter that would change everything. Later that night, Tyra arrived at the Alexander residence, her heart filled with excitement and anticipation. The atmosphere in the home was initially warm and inviting, as the two continued their flirtation in the comfort of Albert's space. Their interactions soon progressed to the bedroom, where the night took on a more intimate tone. However, unbeknownst to them, the veil of secrecy that shrouded their meeting was about to be shattered. As the clock struck 5 a.m. on July 18, 2023, the tranquility of the night was violently disrupted. Stephanie, having unexpectedly returned home early, burst through the door, her heart pounding and mind racing. She was met with the shocking sight of Tyra in bed with her husband, a scene that would ignite a firestorm of emotions, rage, betrayal, and heartbreak. Consumed by an overwhelming sense of betrayal, Stephanie allegedly lunged at Tyra, her fury taking hold as she confronted the woman who represented everything she feared and despised. In the midst of the chaos, Tyra, realizing the grave danger she was in, desperately tried to call her mother for help. The urgency in her voice was palpable, but the call tragically went to voicemail, capturing the horrifying sounds of her final moments, a chilling record of the violence that unfolded. The voicemail, later recovered by investigators, revealed the brutal reality of the attack. It documented the horror Tyra faced as she endured severe violence in those fleeting moments, before ultimately being shot dead. As Tyra's story unfolded, it became clear that her vibrant spirit and dreams were tragically overshadowed by a series of choices and circumstances that led to an unimaginable fate. The events of that night would not only alter the lives of those directly involved but would also send shockwaves through the community, prompting questions about love, betrayal, and the dark undercurrents that can exist beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. At 5:21 a.m., Stephanie called 911 to report that she had shot a woman found inside her home.
Charlotte 911, do you need police, fire, or medic?
I need police. Somebody just been my house. I came home and I had a woman in my house and I pulled out my gun and and she's not moving.
How old is she?
I have no idea. I don't even know the woman. She's inside my house in the hallway on the floor.
Is she flat on her back?
No, she's on her stomach. I can try to move her on her back. My husband told me don't touch her. Oh God, what did I do?
When officers arrived, they discovered a devastating scene. Tyra's lifeless body showed signs of torture and gunshot wounds. Stephanie was taken for questioning as the primary suspect, while her husband, Albert, provided his account of the events. Following these interviews, authorities made the decision to charge Stephanie with voluntary manslaughter, processing her at the Mecklenburg County Jail on July 18, 2023, around 6 a.m. The seriousness of the charges was evident, yet astonishingly, she managed to post a $250,000 bond and was released the same day at 2 p.m. Many in the community were taken aback by this outcome, especially since Albert faced no charges, despite widespread belief that his actions played a significant role in the unfolding tragedy. Tyra's family, particularly her mother, Tanya Hoskins, was understandably outraged by the circumstances surrounding her daughter's untimely death. Tanya took it upon herself to submit the voicemail evidence to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, fervently urging them to reconsider the charges against Stephanie Alexander. She firmly insisted that her daughter was intentionally killed, advocating for the charges to be elevated to first-degree murder. Tanya emphasized that Tyra was not an intruder in the Alexander home. She had been invited in by Albert.
Lured to a home and brutally beaten, and she was invited there. She did not just pop up there. She was not an intruder.
This fact, in her view, invalidated any claims of self-defense and painted the incident as a premeditated act of violence. In her pursuit of justice, Tanya disclosed that on that tragic morning of July 18, Tyra had desperately attempted to call her for help during the assault, alleging that the incident was a calculated setup orchestrated by Stephanie to lure Tyra into a dangerous trap. Initial speculation surrounding Tyra's involvement suggested that she may have broken into the house given her legal history, but subsequent evidence confirmed that this was not the case, reinforcing the notion that she was a victim rather than an aggressor. On August 3, 2023, after a thorough review of the voicemail evidence provided by Tyra's mother, the Mecklenburg County Grand Jury ultimately indicted Stephanie Alexander for the second-degree murder of Tyra Crosby. This decision raised further questions about the nature of Tyra's relationship with Albert Alexander. How long had she known him? Was she aware of his marital status prior to that fateful night? Had she visited the Alexander home before, or was this her first encounter? These unanswered questions lingered, adding another layer of complexity to an already tragic narrative. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. In memory of Tyra, a heartfelt vigil was held on Sunday, July 23, 2023, at a serene local park in Charlotte, North Carolina. The gathering drew friends, family, and community members who came together to honor and celebrate the life of a young woman whose time was cut short far too soon. As the sun set, the atmosphere was filled with a mix of sorrow and warmth, as attendees shared cherished memories of Tyra's laughter, her contagious kindness, and her unwavering loyalty to those she loved. Each story painted a vivid picture of a vibrant spirit who brought joy to the lives of everyone around her. Tanya, Tyra's mother, spoke passionately during the vigil, her voice trembling with emotion as she recounted her daughter's dreams and aspirations. She articulated the profound loss her family now faces, emphasizing the bright future that was so cruelly taken away. With tears in her eyes, Tanya reflected on the milestones Tyra would never reach, the career she had envisioned, the relationships she hoped to cultivate, and the adventures she longed to experience. The crowd listened intently, offering their condolences and support, united in their grief and in their commitment to seek justice for Tyra. As candles flickered in the twilight, attendees offered prayers for Tyra and for Tanya's ongoing quest for justice. The vigil served not only as a memorial but as a rallying cry for those who knew and loved Tyra, a reminder that her life mattered and that her story should not be forgotten. Many expressed their determination to stand by Tanya in her fight against the injustices that had unfolded, vowing to keep Tyra's memory alive in their hearts and in their actions. Tyra Chanel Crosby, just 25 years old, was laid to rest the following day, July 24, at the Greater Temple Baptist Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. The service was attended by a large congregation, reflecting the impact Tyra had on her community and the love that surrounded her. Friends and family members shared their grief, honoring her life with heartfelt tributes and shared stories that showcased her spirit. Meanwhile, Stephanie Alexander now faces trial for second-degree murder, a charge that carries significantly more weight than voluntary manslaughter. This legal shift reflects the prosecution's assertion that Stephanie's actions, while not premeditated, exhibited a depraved indifference to human life, a seriousness that underscores the gravity of the situation. As the trial approaches, many are left grappling with the fact that it is the unfaithful husband, Albert, who walks free, while the consequences of this tragedy fall heavily on others. In the wake of this heartbreaking loss, the community rallies together, hoping that Tyra Crosby receives the justice she deserves. As the legal proceedings unfold, the echoes of Tyra's laughter and the memories of her vibrant spirit will continue to resonate within the hearts of those who loved her, serving as a poignant reminder of the life that should have been and the importance of accountability in the face of such profound loss. What are your thoughts? How much responsibility should Stephanie Alexander bear for her reaction, and do you believe her actions were premeditated or impulsive? How significant was the role of Stephanie's husband in escalating the situation? Share your comments below. Out of Durham, North Carolina. The serene college town, known for its academic rigor and vibrant community, is abruptly shaken by a tragic event. A promising graduate student has been found dead on the cold hard steps outside her apartment complex. Her name, Donita Smith, once synonymous with hope and ambition, now resonates with tragedy and loss. 911, what's your emergency? Oh my God, oh my God. Someone's been shot. January 4, 2007. 8:23 a.m. The morning frost clings persistently to the grass at Campus Crossing Apartments in Durham, North Carolina, as if trying to preserve the innocence of the day. Students, unaware of the unfolding tragedy, hurry to their early classes, clutching coffee cups and textbooks, their minds preoccupied with academic pursuits. But at Building 1102, a scene of unspeakable sorrow is unfolding. There, on the unforgiving concrete steps, lies 25-year-old Donita Smith, motionless, her future brutally interrupted. Her graduate school materials, symbols of her dedication and dreams, are scattered around her like fallen leaves, a stark contrast to the vibrant life she once led. Nestled in her coat pocket is a carefully folded piece of paper, a wedding planning checklist. In just 3 months, she was to walk down the aisle, a day she had eagerly anticipated. Instead, Donita becomes the unwilling protagonist in a dark narrative that will unravel a web of lies, reveal a deadly obsession, and shatter the illusion of a perfect love. This is her story. Before we delve into the intricate and tragic story of Donita Smith, I want to take a moment to thank you for choosing to watch this video. Your support means a great deal to us. If you find this content engaging and valuable, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you help us continue to bring you more compelling narratives and insightful stories. Now, let us journey into the events of January 4, 2007, a day that forever altered the lives of many in Durham, North Carolina. To truly grasp the depth of loss felt on January 4, 2007, we journey back to the vibrant beginnings of Donita Monique Smith's life. Born on November 20, 1981, in Charlotte, North Carolina, Donita was the beloved daughter of Sharon Elaine Cook and Calvin Lee Smith. Her childhood was a tapestry woven with love, laughter, and an insatiable curiosity that set her apart from an early age. From her earliest days, Donita's world was filled with warmth and nurturing, a reflection of the close-knit community and family that surrounded her. Her parents instilled in her a strong sense of values, hard work, compassion, and integrity, qualities that would become the cornerstone of her character. As the youngest in her family, Donita was cherished by her siblings and showered with affection by her extended family, who recognized her bright spirit and potential. Donita's academic journey began at West Charlotte High School, where she quickly became known for her academic prowess and her involvement in various extracurricular activities. Graduating in the year 2000, she left high school with not only a diploma but a reputation as a diligent student and a promising young leader. It was here that her love for storytelling and the arts began to flourish, igniting a passion for photojournalism that she would carry with her throughout her life. With dreams as vast as the horizon, Danita enrolled in North Carolina Central University, pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in English. The university years were transformative for Danita, a time when she not only honed her academic skills but also blossomed socially, forming lifelong friendships and connections. She was a standout student, known for her dedication and her ability to see the world through a unique lens, literally and figuratively. Her camera became her constant companion, capturing the beauty and complexity of life around her, and expressing her perspective with clarity and creativity. Danita's life was not solely defined by her academic achievements. She was deeply committed to her community, actively participating in University Park Baptist Church and proudly serving as a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. These affiliations were more than social engagements, they were extensions of Danita's lifelong commitment to service and empowerment. She was often at the forefront of community initiatives, leading efforts to uplift those around her and embodying the principles of sisterhood and solidarity. By December 2006, Danita was a full-time master's student, balancing the demands of her studies with her ambitions in photojournalism. Her home was a haven of creativity, filled with photography portfolios, wedding magazines, and a myriad of plans for the future. The excitement of her upcoming wedding added another layer of joy and anticipation to her life. Her relationship with Jameer Stroud, a Greensboro police officer, was a source of happiness and stability, and they were eagerly counting down the days to their wedding. Her phone buzzes with a message from Jameer, "Can't wait to marry you. 3 months to go." A smile spreads across Danita's face as she replies, "Already picked out my something blue-red heart." It was a moment full of promise, a testament to the bright future she envisioned, a future that, tragically, would be stolen from her. Let us turn the page to 2005, a year that would mark the beginning of a captivating love story, one that seemed destined to flourish into a beautiful future. It was at the Greensboro Police Department's annual community fundraiser, an event bustling with laughter, camaraderie, and the spirited energy of people coming together for a worthy cause. Among the crowd, a young woman stood with a camera slung around her neck, her eyes bright with curiosity and determination. This was Danita Smith, an aspiring journalist completing an internship that allowed her to dive into the heart of community events, capturing stories that mattered. As Danita moved through the crowd, her lens capturing the vibrant moments of the event, her path crossed with that of Officer Jameer Stroud, a Greensboro police officer who was not only known for his dedication to the force but also for his charismatic presence. Jameer, with his confident demeanor and warm smile, was immediately drawn to Danita's lively spirit and her genuine passion for storytelling. Their introduction was brief, but in that moment, sparks flew, igniting a connection that would soon grow into something extraordinary. That evening marked the beginning of their journey together, a journey filled with laughter, shared dreams, and the kind of companionship that felt as if it were meant to be. As their relationship blossomed, Danita and Jameer became inseparable, navigating the complexities of their respective careers while finding solace and joy in each other's company. Friends and family watched as their bond strengthened, witnessing a love story that seemed as if it were plucked from the pages of a romantic novel. By early 2006, their relationship had reached a new milestone. Jameer, knowing he had found someone truly special, planned a proposal that would be as memorable as their love. He chose a ring that was perfect, a dazzling princess-cut diamond, gleaming with the promise of their shared future. It was exactly what Danita had always dreamed of, a symbol of their commitment and the life they envisioned together. The proposal was a moment of pure magic, set against the backdrop of a picturesque evening that seemed to mirror the beauty of their relationship. As Jameer got down on one knee, his voice steady and filled with emotion, Danita felt a wave of happiness and certainty wash over her. Her yes was not just an answer, but a declaration of love and faith in the life they would build together. Friends and family celebrated their engagement, echoing sentiments of joy and admiration for the couple they affectionately referred to as the power couple. Danita and Jameer's engagement was a time of joy and anticipation, a period where dreams were woven into plans for a future filled with love and stability. They spent countless evenings planning their wedding, envisioning a day that would celebrate not just their love, but the journey that had brought them to this point. It was a partnership rooted in mutual respect and a deep connection, one that seemed unshakable. Yet, beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect love story, there were shadows that Danita could not see, whispers of a past that threatened the very foundation of their future. Unbeknownst to her, another woman believed she had a claim to Jameer's heart, a belief that would ultimately shatter the illusion of their idyllic romance. As Danita and Jameer continued to plan their wedding, they were unaware of the storm brewing on the horizon. Their love story, once filled with promise and hope, was about to be tested in ways they could never have imagined. This is where their journey takes a turn, leading us deeper into the intricate web of love, jealousy, and the unforeseen consequences of hidden truths. To unravel the events that led to the tragedy of January 4th, we must delve into the life of Shannon Crawley, a woman whose presence in this narrative would prove to be as complex as it was pivotal. Shannon Crawley was a 911 dispatcher in Greensboro, a position that demanded both composure and quick thinking. By all accounts, she was smart, capable, and efficient at her job, traits that earned her respect among her colleagues. However, beneath her professional exterior, a storm was quietly gathering strength, one that would soon spill over into the lives of those around her. Shannon's life was one of routine and responsibility. Each day, she navigated the high-pressure environment of emergency dispatch, where every call required urgency and precision. Her colleagues often admired her ability to remain calm under pressure, a skill that was essential in her line of work. Yet, outside the walls of her workplace, Shannon harbored emotions that were far less controlled. Hidden beneath her calm demeanor were feelings of betrayal and resentment, simmering just below the surface. Shannon had known Officer Jameer Stroud for some time. Their paths crossed frequently, given their professional overlap within the law enforcement community. To those who observed them, Shannon and Jameer shared more than just a casual acquaintance. Their interactions suggested a deeper connection, one that had not gone unnoticed by their coworkers. Rumors of a relationship between the two circulated quietly, feeding the office grapevine with whispers of a romance that was as intense as it was secretive. A coworker later remarked, "Shannon and Jameer, yeah, they had something going on. Everyone knew. But then suddenly he's engaged to this other woman?" Shannon, she didn't take it well. This revelation was a turning point for Shannon, a moment that ignited a firestorm of emotions within her. The news of Jameer's engagement to Danita Smith came as a shock, a bitter pill that was hard to swallow. In the months leading up to that fateful January in 2007, security cameras at the Campus Crossing apartments began to pick up something unusual. A dark-colored SUV, a vehicle that would soon become a symbol of the looming tragedy, was captured multiple times on the footage. It appeared frequently, always early in the morning, and always parking tactically with a clear view of Building 1102, the building where Danita lived. This vehicle was observed loitering in the vicinity, its presence a silent prelude to the events that would follow. For Danita, life at Campus Crossing was supposed to be a chapter of independence and growth, a place where she could focus on her studies and her future. But unbeknownst to her, the threads of her life were being tangled with those of another, a woman whose intentions were shrouded in mystery and unresolved emotions. Shannon Crawley's actions were driven by a confluence of feelings, anger, jealousy, and perhaps a misguided sense of love. At work, Shannon maintained her professionalism, her face a mask that concealed the turmoil within. She continued to perform her duties with the same level of competence she was known for, but those close to her noticed subtle changes. There were moments when she seemed distant, preoccupied with thoughts that wandered beyond the confines of her responsibilities. Her heart wrestled with the reality of Jameer's engagement to Danita, a relationship that seemed to stand in stark contrast to what she believed she had with him. As the days passed, the lines between past and present blurred for Shannon, her world overshadowed by the engagement that loomed like a specter over her emotions. For Danita and Jermir, the future seemed bright and promising, filled with plans and dreams they were eager to bring to life. But for Shannon, each day was a reminder of what she perceived as a betrayal, a fracture in her reality that she struggled to reconcile. The SUV continued its silent vigil at Campus Crossing, a harbinger of the storm that was gathering strength. Its frequent appearances hinted at an intent that was far from benign, a prelude to the tragedy that would soon unfold. Shannon's actions, driven by emotions that had spiraled beyond her control, set the stage for a confrontation that would alter the lives of all involved. This is the story of The Other Woman, a narrative woven with complexity and emotion. As we delve deeper into this tale, we uncover the layers of a triangle that was never meant to be, and the devastating consequences of a love turned obsessive. The stage is set for a dramatic unraveling, as the lives of Danita, Jermir, and Shannon intersect in ways that none could have foreseen. As the festive lights of December 2006 flickered across the city, Danita Smith was on the brink of what should have been the happiest time of her life. With her wedding day approaching, the world seemed filled with promise and love. But beneath the surface of her joyous anticipation lay a series of unsettling incidents, warning signs that, in hindsight, painted a chilling picture of what was to come. December 15, 2006. A date that marked the beginning of a series of inexplicable events that would leave an indelible mark on those who knew and loved Danita. It started with small things, details that seemed innocuous at first but would later haunt her family and friends, lingering like shadows in the corners of their minds. Danita, ever perceptive and intuitive, began to sense that something was amiss. Within the cozy confines of her apartment, Danita sought comfort in the familiar, her books, her camera, and the wedding plans that filled her with excitement. But a sense of unease began to creep in, a feeling that she couldn't quite shake off. It was as if the air itself had changed, charged with an unfamiliar tension that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. She started getting these weird calls. The phone would ring, but when she'd answer, there'd be nothing. Just silence. Then hang up. Over and over. It was unsettling, like someone was out there, watching, but never revealing themselves. These anonymous calls were more than just a nuisance, they were a harbinger of the unease that was settling over Danita's life. Each ring of the phone brought with it a wave of anxiety, a reminder that something, or someone, was lurking in the shadows, unseen but ever present. Meanwhile, the security cameras at Campus Crossing Apartments silently documented a more ominous presence. A figure, cloaked in dark clothing, appeared repeatedly in the footage, a specter haunting the periphery of Danita's life. Danita's intuition told her something was wrong, a feeling she couldn't ignore. Reaching out to Jermir, her trusted partner, she confided her fears in a series of text messages that revealed the depth of her anxiety. "Someone's been following me. I'm scared. You're just being paranoid. Focus on the wedding." Jermir's response, intended to reassure, instead left Danita feeling isolated in her fear. His words, though comforting in intent, fell short of addressing the growing dread that gnawed at her peace of mind. It was as if the warning signs were invisible to everyone but her, a haunting premonition that only she could perceive. In the days that followed, Danita tried to push aside her fears, focusing instead on the joyous occasion that lay ahead. Yet, the sense of being watched never left her, casting a shadow over her every move. Her routine walks across campus, once a time of reflection and calm, became fraught with tension as she glanced over her shoulder, searching for a glimpse of her unseen observer. To her friends, Danita spoke of her concerns, her voice tinged with a mix of frustration and worry. She described the sensation of being followed, of eyes upon her even in the most private of moments. But without tangible evidence, these fears were dismissed as stress or wedding jitters, leaving her to navigate the labyrinth of her anxiety alone. The figure continued its silent vigil, undeterred by the passage of time or the festive spirit that enveloped the world around it. With each appearance, the tension mounted, a crescendo that seemed to echo Danita's unspoken fears. The warnings were there, etched in the silent language of shadows and silence, waiting for someone to listen. Even as she immersed herself in the details of her wedding, Danita could not escape the feeling that something was fundamentally wrong. Her joy was tempered by a growing sense of foreboding, a cloud that loomed over the bright future she had envisioned. It was as if the universe itself was conspiring to warn her, leaving trails of breadcrumbs that she could only partially decipher. This chapter of Danita's life was marked by a series of warning signs, subtle, yet insistent whispers of a storm that was drawing ever closer. As the days ticked down to January, the seeds of tragedy were sown, hidden beneath the guise of ordinary life, waiting for the moment to unravel. January 3, 2007. A day like any other, yet one that would become eternally etched in the hearts of those who knew Danita Smith. The morning dawned with the gentle light of a sun rising over the horizon, casting its warm glow over the city and waking it from its slumber. For Danita, it was a morning filled with routine and purpose, a day mapped out with the familiar events that marked her journey towards a promising future. As the clock ticked towards 8:30 a.m., Danita prepared for her class presentation on photojournalism ethics. The classroom buzzed with the quiet hum of anticipation, students gathering with notebooks in hand, ready to engage in the topic at hand. Danita, ever poised and passionate, stood at the front, her presence commanding and her enthusiasm infectious. Her voice carried the weight of her dedication, as she delved into the ethics of capturing truth through the lens. Her presentation was more than just an academic requirement, it was an expression of her core beliefs, a testament to her commitment to integrity in storytelling. She spoke with clarity and conviction, her words resonating with her classmates and igniting a lively discussion. For Danita, this was not just a subject she studied, it was a calling she embraced with all her heart. By 12:15 p.m., Danita found herself in the comforting company of her thesis advisor. Lunch was not just a meal, it was a meeting of minds, a time to reflect on her progress and discuss the next steps in her academic journey. Her advisor, a mentor who had seen her grow from a passionate student to a budding professional, offered guidance and encouragement, reinforcing her confidence in her path. At 2:45 p.m., Danita's day took on a touch of magic as she attended a fitting for her wedding dress. The boutique, a world of elegance and anticipation, was filled with mirrors reflecting her joy and excitement. As she slipped into the gown, the fabric embracing her like a gentle promise, she twirled in front of the mirror, envisioning the moment she would walk down the aisle. It was a glimpse into the future she was eagerly building with Jameer, a moment of pure, unadulterated happiness. Later, at 6:30 p.m., Danita connected with her mother over the phone. Their conversation, centered around the details of wedding flowers, their conversation was filled with warmth and love, the kind of bond that transcends distance. Her mother's voice, soothing and familiar, was a balm to Danita's heart, a reminder of the family that supported her every step of the way. As the evening wore on, 9:15 p.m. marked her last phone call with Jameer. Their conversation was a tapestry of affection and everyday intimacy, the kind of exchange that spoke of a deep-rooted love and the shared dreams they were weaving together. Jameer's voice, comforting and steady, was a source of reassurance and joy, a reminder of the life they were building side by side. At 11:45 p.m., as the day neared its end, Danita sent her final text message. Simple, yet profound, it encapsulated the love and anticipation that defined her relationship with Jameer. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Love you. These words, filled with hope and promise, would linger in the hearts of those she left behind, a poignant echo of the life and love that were so tragically cut short. In the quiet solitude of her apartment, Danita prepared to embrace the night, her mind filled with thoughts of the future and the dreams she was on the brink of realizing. The world outside lay still, wrapped in the gentle silence of the night, unaware of the tragedy that was poised to unfurl. For Danita, this day was a mosaic of vibrant moments and cherished connections, a reflection of the life she lived with passion and purpose. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary day lay the subtle undercurrents of danger, warning signs that had woven themselves into the fabric of her final weeks. The shadows that had lingered in the periphery were on the brink of converging, leading to a culmination that none could foresee. January 3, 2007, remains not just a date, but a testament to the life Danita led, a life characterized by love, ambition, and an unwavering commitment to her dreams. It serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring impact of a soul taken too soon. In those final moments of quiet reflection, the world held its breath, teetering on the brink of an irrevocable tragedy. This is the story of Danita Smith, a legacy of light and love that continues to illuminate the hearts of those who cherish her memory. The morning of January 4, 2007, began with the serene promise of a new day, as the first light of dawn crept over Durham, transforming the cityscape into a canvas painted with gentle hues of gold and pink. At Campus Crossing Apartments, the crisp winter air brought with it a biting chill, the temperature a brisk 42 degrees. Frost clung to every surface, turning the mundane into a sparkling wonderland, as if nature itself had paused to admire the beauty of its own creation. In the quiet parking lot of Campus Crossing, a dark SUV made its entrance. The vehicle moved with deliberate precision, its driver, Shannon Crawley, navigating to a spot that offered a clear and unobstructed view of Building 1102. Shannon's presence was unassuming, yet purposeful, as she settled in to wait, the minutes ticking by with a tension that was both silent and suffocating. Inside her parked vehicle, Shannon was enveloped in a cocoon of quiet anticipation. Her thoughts were a chaotic swirl of emotions, driven by jealousy and a desperate longing that had festered into something dark and uncontrollable. The frosted windshield mirrored the cold determination that lay within her heart, a heart that had decided that this day would be different, that today would bring a resolution to the turmoil within. At 8:20 a.m., Danita Smith emerged from her apartment, a vision of youthful energy and ambition. She wore her favorite red coat, its vibrant color a beacon against the muted palette of the morning. The coat, a cherished piece that reflected her lively spirit, enveloped her like a protective shield against the winter chill. In her hands, she clutched a portfolio, a testament to her hard work and dedication, filled with the hopes and dreams she had nurtured for her thesis presentation later that day. Danita's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, centered on the presentation that awaited her. As she walked, her steps were confident and assured, her path familiar and well-trodden. She was a young woman on the brink of a bright future, her potential as boundless as the morning sky, her aspirations as vivid as the coat she wore. Unbeknownst to Danita, the routine she embarked upon was shadowed by the watchful eyes of Shannon, whose presence loomed like a specter of fate. From the confines of her SUV, Shannon's gaze fixed intently on Danita, every movement observed with a chilling intensity. Her heart raced with a tumult of emotions, jealousy, anger, and a misguided sense of love, each feeding into the dark resolve that had taken root within her. Danita reached her car, the frosty ground crunching beneath her steps, the morning air crisp and invigorating. She was unaware of the danger that lurked nearby, the threat that hovered like a shadow over her bright future. The world seemed to hold its breath, the air thick with an unspoken tension, as the moments slipped by, each one bringing her closer to a confrontation that would change everything. In a moment that would become etched in time, Shannon emerged from her vehicle, her movements deliberate and imbued with a chilling sense of purpose. The tranquility of the morning was shattered by the sound of a gunshot, a sudden, violent punctuation to the serenity that had preceded it. The bullet found its mark, striking Danita from behind, its impact swift and devastating. As Danita fell, the vibrant red of her coat contrasted starkly against the pale frost, a poignant reminder of the life and potential that had been so cruelly extinguished. The world around seemed to pause, the echoes of the shot lingering in the air, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the depths of human emotion. This morning, January 4, 2007, began with promise and routine, yet ended in heartbreak and loss. It is a chapter in Danita's story, a story of life and love, of dreams and tragedy, a reminder of the fragile line between love and obsession, and the devastating impact of crossing that line. Danita Smith's story is a powerful testament to the potential and promise of a life lived with passion and purpose. It is a story that resonates with the enduring quest for justice and the memory of a young woman whose light continues to shine through the darkness. January 4, 2007, was a day that began with the promise of a new dawn but ended in the shadow of tragedy at Campus Crossing Apartments. The morning chill, once a simple marker of winter, now bore witness to a crime that would draw the attention of law enforcement and haunt the hearts of those who loved Danita Smith. In the immediate aftermath, the campus buzzed with the hushed murmur of disbelief and concern. Police cordoned off the area, their presence a stark reminder of the seriousness of the situation. Yellow tape fluttered gently in the cold breeze, a boundary marking the transition from everyday life to a crime scene under scrutiny. The rhythmic flash of police lights punctuated the somber atmosphere, casting an eerie glow over the frost-covered ground. When we arrived, it was clear this wasn't random. The precision of the shot, the timing, someone had planned this. These words from the lead detective, spoken with the gravitas of experience, set the tone for the investigation that would unfold. From the outset, it was apparent to the lead detective and his team that this was no ordinary crime. The calculated nature of the act suggested a plan meticulously executed, pointing to motives deeply personal yet shrouded in enigma. The evidence began to weave a narrative, each piece a thread in the tapestry of truth. A .38 caliber bullet casing lay stark against the ground, its presence a silent testament to the violence that had shattered the morning calm. This small, metallic object was more than just a piece of evidence, it was a key to understanding the events that had unfolded with such precision. Nearby, tire tracks were imprinted in the frost, a clear path leading away from the scene. These tracks, preserved by the cold morning air, spoke of a vehicle that had left in haste, yet with deliberate intent. The patterns matched those of the dark SUV seen earlier, linking the vehicle to the crime with undeniable clarity. Security footage provided a visual account, capturing the SUV's journey through the parking lot. The time-stamped images showed its arrival, the strategic parking, and eventually, its departure. Each frame captured the methodical nature of the crime, revealing a choreography that was as premeditated as it was chilling. Technology added another layer to the investigation. Cell phone tower pings mapped a trail, tracing the movements of Shannon Crawley's device with precision. The data placed her in the vicinity at critical times, weaving a web of connectivity that was difficult to refute. Each ping was a digital footprint, a marker of presence that technology could not conceal. Inside Shannon Crawley's vehicle, gunshot residue tests yielded results that were damning. The presence of residue told its own story, one that aligned with the theory of a shot fired from within. This invisible evidence, now revealed, painted a picture of a crime executed with intimate knowledge and chilling resolve. As investigators pieced together the puzzle, the story that emerged was one of complexity and calculated intent. The crime, committed with precision, was not a spur-of-the-moment act but rather the culmination of a plan, one that was both personal and deliberate. The evidence, once disparate and isolated, now converged to form a coherent narrative, pointing towards a singular figure. Back at the precinct, the lead detective and his team worked tirelessly to connect the dots. Maps covered the walls, photographs and reports cluttered desks, each piece of information scrutinized with care and diligence. The investigation was a race against time, driven by the need to bring justice to Danita and closure to her grieving loved ones. The weight of the evidence was undeniable. Each element, bullet casing, tire tracks, camera footage, cell phone data, and residue, formed a chain that bound the narrative together with unyielding strength. Yet, despite the clarity of the evidence, the emotional undercurrents of the crime were anything but clear. The investigators were left to grapple with the human element, the motivations that lay behind such a calculated act. This investigation, with its meticulous unraveling of events, was more than just a quest for justice, it was a window into the complexities of human emotion and the darkness that can dwell within. As the pieces fell into place, the story of Danita's last moments became clearer, yet the questions of why and how resonated with a haunting echo. January 4, 2007, will forever be remembered as a day marked by tragedy and loss, yet also by the relentless pursuit of truth. The investigation, driven by evidence and intuition, sought to illuminate the shadows that had fallen over Danita's life, to bring light to a darkness that had claimed a promising future. It is a testament to the enduring quest for justice, a legacy of love and loss intertwined. In the stark, windowless confines of the police interrogation room, time seemed suspended, the air heavy with tension and anticipation. It was here, beneath the unyielding glare of fluorescent lights, that Shannon Crawley sat, her demeanor a complex tapestry of defiance and vulnerability. As investigators delved deeper into the events surrounding Danita Smith's tragic death, Shannon's narrative began to fray, revealing inconsistencies and contradictions that hinted at deeper truths. From the very first question, Shannon's story was a shifting landscape, a series of versions that seemed to evaporate under scrutiny. Her voice, at times firm, other times wavering, echoed within the bare walls, each version of her story an attempt to construct a reality that would absolve her of guilt. In her initial account, Shannon was adamant, "I was nowhere near Durham that day." The declaration was made with a sense of conviction, a bold attempt to distance herself from the scene of the crime. Yet, as the evidence mounted, this version crumbled, unable to withstand the weight of facts that painted a different picture. Faced with the undeniable evidence of her presence, Shannon's story shifted, "I was there but didn't see anything." This version, though less audacious, was equally fragile, unraveling under the steady pressure of the detective's questions. The narrative was a delicate dance, each step revealing more than it concealed. Finally, in a dramatic twist, Shannon placed the blame elsewhere. "Jameer made me do it." This accusation, a desperate bid to deflect responsibility, introduced a new layer of complexity. It was a claim that challenged the investigators to untangle a web of relationships and emotions, each thread potentially holding the key to understanding the tragedy. The more we dug, the more we found. Shannon had been stalking Danita for months. Phone records showed hundreds of calls. Her computer revealed searches for Danita's address, daily schedule, wedding details. As the investigation pressed on, Shannon's carefully curated facade began to crumble, revealing a portrait of obsession and jealousy that lay beneath. The detective's diligent work uncovered a digital trail that spoke volumes, a silent witness to Shannon's fixation on Danita. Phone records painted a stark picture, each call a marker of Shannon's relentless pursuit. Hundreds of calls, a relentless barrage that underscored the depth of her fixation. It was a pattern that spoke of a mind consumed by jealousy, driven to the edge by emotions she could neither control nor understand. On her computer, searches revealed an unsettling interest in Danita's personal life. Addresses, schedules, wedding details, intimate aspects of Danita's life were catalogued with meticulous precision. This digital footprint was undeniable, a testament to the lengths Shannon had gone to in her obsession. In the interrogation room, the detective's questions were relentless, each one a chisel striking at the walls Shannon had built around her narrative. Her responses, once defiant, now faltered under the weight of evidence that left little room for doubt. Despite the mounting evidence, Shannon clung to her shifting stories, her words a desperate attempt to rewrite the narrative. Yet, beneath the surface, the truth lay exposed, a story of jealousy and obsession that had spiraled into tragedy. The unraveling of Shannon Crawley's story was more than just an investigation into a crime, it was a journey into the human psyche, an exploration of the dark corners where obsession and emotion collide. It was a narrative that challenged the investigators to see beyond the surface, to understand the motivations that lay beneath. As the pieces came together, the story that emerged was one of complexity and heartbreak. Shannon Crawley's actions were not the result of a single moment, but rather the culmination of a series of decisions driven by jealousy and a misguided sense of love. It was a narrative that spoke of the destructive power of obsession, a cautionary tale of the darkness that can dwell within. The investigation into Danita Smith's death was not just about finding justice for a life cut short, it was about understanding the human condition, the emotions that drive us, and the consequences of letting those emotions go unchecked. It is a story that continues to resonate, a reminder of the fragile line between love and obsession, and the tragedy that can result when that line is crossed. In the solemn halls of justice, where truth is laid bare and justice sought, the trial of Shannon Crawley unfolded with a gravity that mirrored the weight of the tragedy it sought to resolve. The courtroom, a space of order and deliberation, became the stage upon which the tangled web of relationships and deceit was painstakingly unraveled. It was here, under the scrutiny of the law, that the full scope of the love triangle involving Jermier Stroud, Danita Smith, and Shannon Crawley was finally revealed. The proceedings began with a somber air, the quiet murmur of the gallery hushed as the judge took his seat. For those present, the trial was not just a legal process but a journey into the heart of a story marked by love, betrayal, and ultimately, tragedy. Families sat with heavy hearts, their expressions a mix of grief and anticipation, eager for answers yet dreading the truths that might emerge. At the center of it all was Jermier Stroud, a man whose actions had unwittingly set the stage for the events that had unfolded. As the trial progressed, the layers of his involvement with both women were meticulously peeled back, revealing a complex narrative of deception and divided loyalties. Jermier, while planning a future with Danita, had maintained a connection with Shannon, a relationship fraught with emotion and unresolved tensions. The prosecution painted a vivid picture of Shannon Crawley's state of mind, emphasizing the calculated nature of her actions. She had not acted on impulse, they argued, but rather from a place of deep-seated jealousy and obsession. In her mind, eliminating Danita was the only path to reclaiming the affection she believed was rightfully hers. Shannon Crawley didn't just snap. This was calculated. She couldn't accept that Jermier chose Danita. In her mind, eliminating Danita meant she could have Jermier back. These words from the prosecutor, delivered with conviction, resonated through the courtroom, casting a spotlight on the psychological underpinnings of Shannon's actions. The prosecution's narrative was clear and compelling, a story of obsession that had spiraled into a deadly resolve. Throughout the trial, the defense sought to paint a different picture, one of a woman driven to the brink by emotional turmoil. They argued that Shannon was not entirely to blame, pointing to Jermier's duplicity as a catalyst for her actions. It was a strategy that sought to redistribute the weight of guilt, to shed light on the complex emotional dynamics at play. As witnesses took the stand, each testimony added depth to the narrative, painting a fuller picture of the relationships and events that had led to that fateful day. Friends and family spoke of Danita's bright future, her dreams and aspirations, painting a portrait of the vibrant life that had been so cruelly cut short. Their words were tinged with sorrow, yet also with a determination to honor her memory. Jermier himself was called to testify, his presence a focal point of the trial. Under oath, he recounted his relationships with both women, his words carefully chosen yet undeniably revealing. His testimony was a window into the tangled web of emotions and decisions that had brought them all to this moment. The courtroom hung on his every word, the weight of his actions clear to all. The trial, with its intricate dance of testimony and evidence, was a journey toward understanding the depths of human emotion and the consequences of deception. Each day in court peeled back another layer of the story, revealing the motivations and missteps that had culminated in tragedy. In the closing arguments, both sides presented their final narratives, each seeking to sway the jury with the weight of their evidence and the power of their words. The prosecution reiterated the calculated nature of Shannon's actions, while the defense urged the jury to consider the emotional context and Jermier's role in the unfolding drama. As the jury retired to deliberate, the courtroom was left in a tense silence, the air thick with anticipation and the heavy burden of impending judgment. Outside, the world continued its daily rhythm, yet within these walls, time seemed to pause, holding its breath for the verdict that would shape the future of those involved. The trial of Shannon Crawley was not just a search for justice, but a reflection on the complexities of human relationships and the tragic consequences of unchecked emotions. It was a story of love and loss, of betrayal and obsession, a testament to the fragile nature of trust and the devastating impact of its betrayal. February 2010. The chill of winter's grasp held the city in its icy embrace as the long-awaited conclusion to a harrowing journey of justice unfolded. Inside the courthouse, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. The walls of the courtroom seemed to hold their breath, absorbing the tension and the weight of expectation that lingered in the air. After a grueling 3-week trial, marked by emotional testimonies and the relentless pursuit of truth, the moment of reckoning had arrived. The jury, composed of 12 individuals from diverse walks of life, had borne witness to the myriad stories and evidence presented over the preceding weeks. Each of them carried the heavy burden of responsibility, tasked with delivering a verdict that would determine the course of justice for Shannon Crawley. The courtroom was filled to capacity, the gallery a sea of faces etched with a spectrum of emotions, anxious family members, curious onlookers, and members of the press, all gathered to witness the culmination of a saga that had gripped the community. The silence was palpable, a heavy shroud that enveloped the room as the judge took his place on the bench, his expression one of solemn duty. As the foreperson of the jury stood to deliver the verdict, the tension in the room reached its zenith. Every eye was fixed on the individual who held the power to speak the words that would echo through the hearts of all present. The moment stretched, a taut line of suspense that seemed to defy the passage of time. In those brief, eternal seconds, the room was a crucible of emotion, a blend of hope and fear, of anticipation and dread. The silence was a living thing, punctuated only by the soft rustle of clothing and the quiet, collective intake of breath as the foreperson prepared to speak. Then, finally, came the words that would bring resolution to the long and arduous journey that had brought them all to this point. In the matter of the state versus Shannon Crawley, on the charge of first-degree murder, we find the defendant guilty. The declaration hung in the air, a pronouncement that reverberated through the room, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of all who heard it. For Danita's family, it was a moment of bittersweet vindication, an acknowledgement of the truth they had known all along. Tears flowed freely, a cascade of relief and sorrow, mingling in a poignant testament to their enduring love and loss. For Shannon Crawley, the verdict was a moment of reckoning, a stark realization of the consequences of her actions. Her demeanor shifted, the weight of the jury's decision settling upon her like a tangible force. The courtroom, once filled with tension, now seemed to exhale, releasing the collective breath it had held for so long. The judge's voice, steady and unwavering, continued to deliver the formalities of the sentencing. Each word was a step toward closure, a pathway leading out of the shadow of uncertainty and into the light of justice. The sentence, life in prison without the possibility of parole, was a solemn affirmation of accountability, a statement that the cycle of violence and obsession would end here. Outside the courtroom, the world continued its rhythmic dance, the city unaware of the profound moment that had just unfolded within its walls. Yet, for those inside, the verdict was a turning point, a definitive chapter in a story that had touched lives and reshaped futures. As people filed out of the courtroom, conversations buzzed with the echoes of the trial, each person processing the events in their own way. Reporters scrambled to capture the moment, their cameras clicking and pens scribbling, eager to convey the news to a community that had followed the case with bated breath. For Danita's loved ones, the verdict was a step toward healing, a chance to honor her memory by finding peace amidst the pain. It was a reminder of the preciousness of life, of the dreams and aspirations that Danita had embodied, and of the enduring impact of her spirit. The journey to justice, though long and arduous, was a testament to the power of truth and the resilience of the human spirit. It is a story that continues to resonate, reminding us of the delicate balance between love and obsession, and the enduring quest for justice in the face of tragedy. The courtroom verdict marked the end of a chapter, but the story of loss and remembrance continued to unfold in the lives of those who loved Danita Smith. In the quiet aftermath of the trial, a community gathered to honor her memory, to celebrate the vibrant life that had been so tragically cut short. The memorial service was a poignant tapestry of grief and gratitude, a moment to reflect on a life that had touched so many hearts. The service was held in a sunlit chapel, its stained glass windows casting colorful patterns across the gathered mourners. The air was filled with the soft murmur of conversations, the gentle rustle of programs, and the hushed tones of shared memories. Friends, family, and colleagues came together, each person bringing their own stories and reflections, each carrying a piece of Danita's spirit with them. At the front of the chapel, a large photograph of Danita was prominently displayed, a symbol of her passion for photography and a reminder of the light she had brought into the world. The image, capturing her radiant smile and lively eyes, served as a focal point for the gathering, an anchor for the emotions that ebbed and flowed throughout the service. As the memorial service unfolded, the air was filled with heartfelt tributes, each speaker painting a vivid portrait of Danita's life and legacy. They spoke of her kindness, her infectious laughter, her unwavering determination, and her dreams of making a difference through her art. Each word was a brushstroke on the canvas of her memory, crafting a lasting impression of a young woman full of potential and promise. My daughter had dreams. She was going to change the world with her photography. Instead, we're left with photographs of her. That's all we have now, pictures and memories. Danita's mother's voice, filled with both sorrow and pride, echoed the sentiments of all who knew her daughter. Her words were a poignant reminder of the dreams unfulfilled, the potential unrealized. Yet, they also spoke of the enduring legacy Danita had left behind, a legacy captured in the photographs she had taken, in the lives she had touched, and in the memories cherished by those who loved her. The service continued with a slideshow of Danita's photography, a visual journey through her artistic vision and the world as she saw it. Each image was a testament to her talent and passion, a glimpse into the moments she had captured with such care and creativity. The photographs, vibrant and full of life, were a reminder of her enduring impact and the beauty she had sought to share with the world. As the ceremony drew to a close, the mourners joined together in a final act of remembrance, a collective moment of silence, a shared pause to honor Danita's memory and reflect on the indelible mark she had left on their lives. The silence was profound, a tapestry woven from the threads of love, loss, and hope. Outside the chapel, the sun continued its journey across the sky, casting its golden light over the world below. The day, though marked by sorrow, was also a testament to resilience and the enduring power of love. As people slowly dispersed, their hearts carried the weight of loss, yet also the warmth of cherished memories and the inspiration to honor Danita's legacy in their own lives. The aftermath of tragedy is a path paved with both pain and healing, a journey that weaves together the threads of memory and hope. For those who loved Danita, the road ahead was one of honoring her spirit, of carrying forward her dreams and aspirations in their own ways. It is a journey that continues, a testament to the enduring impact of a life lived with passion and purpose. Danita Smith's story is one of love and loss, of dreams and resilience. Though her life was cut short, her memory lives on in the hearts of those who cherish her, a legacy of light and inspiration that continues to shine brightly in a world forever touched by her presence. Amidst the hustle and bustle of daily life at Campus Crossing Apartments, a small plaque stands as a quiet sentinel outside Building 1102. It bears the name of Danita Smith, a gentle reminder of a life brimming with promise, a life that was tragically cut short. The plaque reads, "In memory of Danita Smith, photographer, scholar, beloved daughter. May her story remind us that love should never cost a life." In the years that have followed, Danita's story has echoed beyond these walls, reaching far and wide as a poignant reminder of the deadly consequences of obsession. Her life, once filled with dreams and aspirations, now serves to illuminate the importance of recognizing the warning signs of stalking and domestic violence. Shannon Crawley, the woman whose actions forever altered the course of so many lives, is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Jermir Stroud, once a promising officer, resigned from the police force amidst the fallout. Yet, the story doesn't end there. Danita's legacy continues to serve as a beacon, a warning, and a call to action for those who may find themselves on similar paths. Her story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of love that transcends even the darkest of times. Danita's laughter, captured in photographs, her joy in moments shared with loved ones, these are the memories that endure, the images that remind us of the beauty and fragility of life. They are a call to cherish our time with loved ones and to remain vigilant against the shadows of obsession and violence. If you or someone you know is being stalked, help is available. The National Stalking Resource Center hotline is open 24/7 to provide support and guidance. Remember, recognizing the signs and seeking help can save lives. As we reflect on Danita's story, let us commit to making a difference, to sharing her legacy and learning from her journey. We invite you to join us in spreading awareness and supporting those who need it most. Thank you for joining us in this journey of remembrance and reflection. If Danita's story has touched your heart, we encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you help us continue to share stories that matter, stories that inspire change and foster understanding. Together, we can make a difference.